Good day, dear friends, and my apologies for starting later than usual. I had an internet, a Wi-Fi problem. I had to reboot and get into the closet and grab the reboot the wireless and reboot the router and reboot and reconnect with the flashlight. And all. But anyway, we're back, and that's why we're here. And sorry for the delay. Thank you so much, dear friends, for being a part of this. Thank you so much for waiting. Thank you so much for joining us on this Juneteenth, a day most of us still don't know exactly what it is, but whatever. Remember, there's 139 days until the election. 139 days. And this is going to be one of the most exciting races you have ever seen in your entire life. I don't know how to say it other than what I've just told you. It is beyond everything and anything we can imagine. So let's get going. I have a melange, a pastiche of clips and things for you. You're going to say, wow, because of course the Trump tsunami is on track and on target, and the Bidenistas are freaking out. They don't know what to do because they see what's coming and they know what's coming, and we know what's coming. All right, dear friends, so sit back, make sure you are subscribed, make sure everything is connected, make sure you like the videos, make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And before we begin, how about this critical and important message from our critical and important sponsor regarding a VPN. But do you know all the neat things you can do with a VPN? Do you have any idea? This is not just a little trifle. This is something you need drastically. I don't care what anybody tells you, especially when you're out in public, in coffee shops and airports. Anyway, just listen. Do you remember a while back, the world's most famous celebrities and billionaires were outraged because the internet used apps to stalk their flight routes of their private jets? Remember that? And with these apps, anyone could track the celebrities' flight routes nearly in real time. But new legislation by Congress, of course, has made that illegal, allowing the rich and famous to anonymize their jet flight and make it impossible to track them. Well, unfortunately, when regular citizens like you and me complain about our privacy, the government does nothing about it. That's why I protect my personal data with today's sponsor, Virtual Shield, and I absolutely love the security I get with them. Virtual Shield helps protect my private information, browsing history, and internet activity from cyber criminals, hackers, tech corporations, ISPs, and more. It only takes 2 clicks on my laptop or phone to protect me with their flagship tools like Virtual Shield's VPN, which features anonymous browsing, ad blocking, a strict no-log policy, military-grade encryption, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited devices, and much more. Thanks again to Virtual Shield for sponsoring Lionel Nation, and be sure to sign up by visiting virtualshield.com/Lionel, or simply click the link in the description below, because every sign up with that link gets you up to 67% off and a 60-day risk-free trial. Not bad, huh? Nothing but the best for you, my friends. Okay, today as we sit back on this very hot and steamy Juneteenth, I want to go over a few things with you that I came across which I found fascinating. And I think you'll find them fascinating too, for reasons that will be readily apparent. Now, one thing is I forgot. Whenever we talk about DEI, you understand that DEI, this notion of equity. What is equity? Equity is the artificial advancement of people in positions by virtue of their demographic, their race, their whatever their demo is, whatever the demo that you want, that's what it is. That's what we're talking about. Equality is one thing. This is different. This isn't equality. This is equity. And you care about how many Polynesians and how Pan-Asians and how many trans. You love that because Diversity of people necessarily translates into excellence. When you have people from all different walks of life, that will necessarily mean that the quality of work is excellent as well, correct? Right? Right? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. This is our mayor, the Jadrul. This is Eric Adams, who wants more than anything to be mayor, but he doesn't want to do mayor stuff. He wants to be, ladies' man. Listen to him describe what he is the most proud of, and this explains to you the horrors involved in somebody who merely wants to go for this quota affirmative action DEI nonsense. This explains it perfectly.
First Trinidadian to be a deputy mayor. First Dominican to be a deputy mayor. First African American to be the first deputy mayor. Second African American to be the chief of staff. Why? The first one was by David Dinkins. When you look at our administration, first Indian American to be a deputy mayor, first Filipino American to be a deputy mayor, first Korean American to have small business services. You look at our administration and you will see for yourself, we got all of this chocolate running the city.
We've got all of this chocolate running the city. One more time. We have all of this chocolate running the city. Isn't that great? What about the quality? Is the city more efficient? Are things getting done? Services? Crime going down? Education up? Public? No. But we've got chocolate running the city.
And you're trying to figure out why they're hating on me?
Why they're hating on me? Okay, listen to this. Listen to the loquacity and the elegance, eloquence and elegance perhaps of this benighted moonbat.
Listen, folks, I came into office, we were spending pennies in women and black-owned businesses. We're now spending billions.
Oh, I think he meant billions. Isn't that great? Don't you love it? Who's happy with the chocolate running? Anybody? Is that good? Is that good? That's the New York mayor from the days of LaGuardia and Ed Koch and Giuliani and Dinkins. Dinkins, who, by the way, was not in any stretch of the imagination one of the greatest, but crime was going down under the tutelage and direction of Ray Kelly. De Blasio sounded better. He was, if this guy wasn't an off the boat commie, I don't know what. But this is where we are. Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? Don't you love that? Aren't you love that? Now, let me tell you another story which I heard today, which many of our conservative friends think, oh, this is just great news. You love this is great news. What is it? Oh, it's just fantastic news. Well, what is it? Oh, it's conservatives' dream. Uh-oh. When I hear that, I get very scared. Well, Louisiana is the first state to require the 10 Commandments to be posted in classrooms. And most people think that's terrific. Not I, my friend. Not I. If this is not a violation per se, direct violation in Catholic, it's inconsistent because we have the 10 Commandments in the Supreme Court, but it's more of a historical of where laws came from. It doesn't, they have, Hammurabi and Moses, it's like these are where laws came from. It's a little bit more secular. But in this particular case, they have this is the first time where we have the 10 commandments, not to show the derivation of laws. Tell me how this is not a violation of the Establishment Clause. To establish, endorse, ratify the existence of a monotheistic God. I am the Lord thy God. Why should that be in a public classroom? Public. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make to thyself any graven images. What does this have to do with the laws? Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Finally, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, unless you're in the Biden administration. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his cattle, nor anything else that is thy neighbor's. And when you tell this to people, they say, that's great. No, it's not. Oh, no, that's terrific. We need more of that. You need more of what? Oh, no, we need more of that. You need more of that. Oh, yeah. Well, how's that? Well, simple. It's because of the, because it makes sense. I mean, this makes sense. Why? Well, after all, we're a Christian nation. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Absolutely not. Treaty of Tripoli. John Adams, Article 11, I think it was. No. Well, after all, it's the world was a lot better when we had this on the wall, wasn't it? Yeah, I guess there was less crime when we had black and white TV. What does that mean? This is not a Christian country. This is absolutely, positively unconstitutional. But guess what? Nothing's going to happen. We got In God We Trust on coins. We got In God We Trust. We have a Senate or a congressional chaplain. We open with a prayer. Hell, I don't know. Let it all in. Who cares? Right? Absolutely. What do you care? Let it all in. And I'll be hard pressed to tell you how any of this makes any sense or why it's so terrible. Nobody's in school anyway. They're doing remote learning. Who cares? They don't care that much about education, but they care a lot about this 10 Commandments stuff. So you know what? You think anybody's going to understand that? No. We do have a problem, though. What happens when people are atheists? Oh, God, here he goes, bringing up the atheist. Well, it's a point. What about an atheist? Oh, I got an idea. How many of you fine folks would love the following? Let's say I got a friend of mine who lives in, I think it's Elon Omar's district in Minnesota, Minneapolis. And it's a big Ethiopian Muslim contingent. So why don't we do this? Would you have any objection if they decided to put up portions of the Quran on the wall? Anybody? Majority rules, right? I mean, if it's okay for Christian, nobody's going to complain. There is such a strong population. They would love this. Any problem with that? The Quran. Huh? How about that? Especially now when we're trying to show this communality of spirit. What with Israel and what's going on there? Any problem with that, my friend? Anything? How about parts of the, how about the Torah, Talmudic references, Abrahamic? Any problem with that? Would you have any problem with that? Of course you would. You don't want to see that. And you sure as hell don't want to see any kind of Muslim scripture up there at all. You don't. But Christian, you don't mind. Be honest. Be honest. Be honest. The rule is simply this: keep religion out of government, off coins, in courts, in the Congress. Stop it. Just stop it. You're not going to do it. Nobody cares. Stop it. The Establishment Clause. One nation under God. What? They added that. Remember Bellamy, the socialist, added, or when he first came up with the pledge, there was no reference to that. That was the Knights of Columbus. Americans don't care about it. We figured this is a Christian country, and that's it. So don't expect anything to happen. Nothing's going to happen when I tell you this. Believe me when I tell you this. Because nobody can figure this thing out. Justice Scalia couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure. I don't know what the hell is going on. I can't figure any of this stuff out. None of this stuff. We couldn't figure any of this stuff out. You dig what I'm saying? Do you dig what I'm saying? I think you dig. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, I do. Now let's move right along. Lori Cook says, wait a minute. Lori says, they made us take our God sign off the courthouse. Well, you know what? I don't know why. Why now? But this is okay. Lori, do you think there should be a God sign on the courthouse? When you go to the courthouse, should there be God? Do you think there should be creche signs and scenes and nativity scenes? Or do you believe that over such a period of time, this, for all practical purposes, is just kind of like a ceremonial, it's like an expression, like when somebody says, God bless you. Right? I mean, God bless you. It doesn't really mean anything. Look, at this point, nobody cares. We don't care. So, is it a titular? To me, it's theoretical. You could say that it has been a part of our scenery for so long, any religious mention has lost all consideration whatsoever. All completely. Okay? Let's face it. Any kind of consideration, they probably say, you know what, that's enough. That's enough. Lori says, it was normal to me. Well, that's okay. How could it not be? It's only been around since what? Since forever? Of course it's normal to you. What about in God we trust on coins? If you can see any coins anymore. So moving right along, let's see remember this guy, Joe Biden. Oh, we forget Joe Biden. Remember what he did to that great American, Clarence Thomas? Do you remember what he did? Do you remember? Did you ever believe this Anita Hill story? Wasn't this the weird Long Dong Silver? Hey, who put this? What's this hair doing on Michael? Remember that? What's this? Who put this pubic hair? What could it? You think Long Dong Silver? Remember that one? Where in the hell did that come from? Oh, hang on a minute. Whoa, hang on. Do you remember this one? It was incredible. It was one of the strangest things I've ever seen. And the only thing I thought, I think there's kind of something to this. Why is it? Because it's so weird. It's so strange. But does that count? Does that count? Do you remember that? Remember Anita Hill wanted nothing to do. Nita Totenberg outed her. She didn't want to be a part of this. Well, let's look back at what old Pops Biden did before he lost his marbles, and remember the venom exhibited by that man.
Committee will please come to order. Judge, it's a tough day and tough night for you, I know. Let me ask, do you have anything you'd like to say before we begin? I understand that your preference is, which is totally and completely understandable, that we go
Memory
1 hour
lane,
tonight,
kids.
30 minutes on each side. Am I correct in that?
That's right.
Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Senator, I would like to start by saying unequivocally, uncategorically, that I deny each and every single allegation against me today that suggested in any way that I had conversations of a sexual nature or about pornographic material with Anita Hill, that I ever attempted to date her, that I ever had any personal sexual interest in her, or that I in any way ever harassed her. A second, and I think more important point, I think that this today is a travesty. I think that it is disgusting.
Remember this.
I think that this hearing should never occur in America.
High-tech lynching.
This is a case in which this sleaze, this dirt, was searched for by staffers of members of this committee,
Yep.
was then leaked to the media,
Yep.
and this committee and this body
Look at that guy. Look.
validated it and displayed it
Yes.
prime time
Yes.
over our entire nation.
Yep.
How would any member on this committee,
Yes.
any person in this room, or any person in this country would like sleaze said about him or her
Hear that,
in this
Joe?
fashion, or this dirt dredged up, and this gossip and these lies displayed in this manner?
Remember
How would
this.
any person like it? The Supreme Court is not worth it. No job is worth it.
Yep.
I'm not here for that. I'm here for my name, my family,
Yes.
my life, and my integrity.
Look at Hal Heflin. See how? Remember this one, Metzenbaum? Did you see this, by the way? Did you see this? Did you see this? Metzenbaum. Is that Leahy? Hal Heflin. Remember Hal Heflin got it right? Hal Heflin. And the second from the right, I remember.
And my
him.
integrity.
Anybody remember his name?
I think something is dreadfully wrong with this country
Yes.
when any person in this free country would be subjected to this. This is not a closed room. There was an FBI investigation.
Yes.
This is not an opportunity to talk about difficult matters privately or
Yep.
in a closed environment. This is a circus. It's a national disgrace.
Good.
And from my standpoint,
It's a high-tech
as
lynching.
a black American, as far as I'm concerned, it is a high-tech lynching
There
for
we go.
uppity blacks
Here we go.
who in any way deign to think for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
to do for themselves, to have different ideas. And it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you.
Absolutely.
You will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured by a committee of the U.S. Senate rather than hung from a tree.
I came across that today and I thought that was so perfect and so apt. And the people today, those Democrats who live and breathe diversity and equity, and when it comes to Clarence Thomas, they're hypocrites. By the way, little note. When something is absolute, it's categorical. When you say it should be I categorically deny. He said I uncategorically. Uncategorical means you can't put it into a category. Different story. Little minor point. No big deal. No big deal. Absolutely. Wonderful. Do you see where we have gone? Do you see the degree of hypocrites and hypocrisy of these people? You remember that? Unbelievable. Now, here's one. Here's something that'll really make you sick to your stomach. Want to get sick, folks? Who wants to get sick? Who wants to get sick? Because let me tell you something. There is no subject under the sun that gets you more upset than this. Bugs. Lab meat, bugs, eating bugs, entomophagic, if that's a word, or a neologism. There's nothing that stands for the notion of the World Economic Forum more than this, especially Lori Cook knows this. She knows this. When it comes to eating bugs, insectophagia, whatever the word is. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Oh, this was a while back. And you could tell by the graininess of this, they've been thinking about this for a long time. Little memory lane, folks.
Entomilk is a dairy alternative that we make from black soldier fly larvae.
Entomilk. Wait a minute. Hold it. We make from black soldier fly larvae. Entomilk. Yum, yum. It's for supper.
We take the insects and we process it into a dairy alternative. It forms a rich and creamy liquid, which
isn't that great? Yum. Oh, yeah.
Looks and acts just like dairy. Entomilk is very rich in protein, fat, calcium, iron, and zinc, which is really good for you. And it's got a very creamy mouthfeel.
Yep.
The world needs alternatives to survive.
Don't you think so?
Insects are vital for the future of food because they require very little land. They don't damage the environment like livestock.
That's true.
They don't produce greenhouse gases.
No greenhouse.
The demand for ice cream. The world is going to struggle to produce enough food for the growing population.
That's true.
And I find insects a very viable option. Can you believe it's made from insects? Hi, I'm Leah Bessa. I live in Cape Town, and I make dairy alternatives from insects.
Now, question. How many of you babies out there, how many of you babies would never even try that? Not like it. How many of you would not try it? Now, I don't know what the actual components of this are. Are there saturated fats or the things like that? Which, there's no hormones in there. There's no trans fats or none of that stuff. There's no. What if there's no fat at all? What if it's all, I know you like protein. Protein is so important to the, oh my God. There hasn't been a protein dearth, except in the case of people who starve themselves. Would you try it? Come on. Would you try it? Would you try that? Would you, my friends? Would you try it? Just if I say, just try. Don't buy it, but would you try it? Who here is such a baby you wouldn't try it? Seriously. Of course you would. I would. Dennis says, no thanks. Are you afraid? Are you afraid? No, seriously, let me ask you, are you seriously? Are you scared? Are you scared to say of bugs? You wouldn't do this? What is the matter with you? You wouldn't try it? Like, say, okay, I'll try it. You ever tried those little crickets? The Mexicans have them. They come in a big bag. I've had them. They're kind of like crunchy or nutty. You don't know the difference. I've had those years ago. I haven't had them in a while. They were fine, as long as there's nothing parasitic about them. You'll eat a chicken. You'll eat sausage. You'll take ground antibiotic meat with hormones, shove it into the intestines of a pig. Do I have to tell you what used to go through intestines? That's okay. That's a hot dog. That's a sausage. That's okay. But pulverized larvae in something that appears creamy, that tastes fine? Oh, no, not for me. What a bunch of wimps. Babies. I can't believe. I thought you were tougher. And you say, of course I'm going to try it. Of course I'm going to try it. No, not me. No way. Come on, try it. No. That's obstinacy. Incredible. I can't believe that. Now, I don't know. By the way, I'm plant-based. I don't know if that does that qualify. I mean, if you could somehow, if I don't know how they could do it, but if they could ever make meat that had the how, because I love the texture of meat. I love the smell of it. I love the greasiness. I don't know. I like that. If you could somehow mimic that, oh yeah. Oh, I'd try that. But you wouldn't even try that. Everybody who says, we're going to teach men to be men. Come on, son, be like dad. Dad, can we try this? Ooh, no, icky. Those are bugs. Worm meal. You're eating microplastics. There's already bugs and roach feces and things anyway. Well, that doesn't matter. But I want you to be tough like those Tate boys. Now, those are men. That's what I want you to do. Men who victimize women, the Tate boys. I want you to be a man like that. But eat Ento milk? Oh, no way. I am shocked and chagrined. I thought this was a tough group. Well, you learn. You know what I mean? You learn some stuff, don't you? You sure do. Well, here's my friends. Here's something. Well, there's one thing you're not going to have to worry about is a kind of Ento milk, but you do have to worry about in the event something goes wrong and you absolutely need emergency food. And people, they go crazy when you say, is this prepping? No, it's called emergency food. People are just weird. They say, I call it what you want. Preparing? Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's called preparewithlionel.com. This is the biggest company in the nation. This is the place to go. Just like you have spare ammo, water, generator, don't forget food, water, energy. You better be prepared. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. Now, what are you going to be doing about it to prepare now? Your first step is going to my website, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. And for a limited time, enjoy their special partner offer. Take $50 off a 4-week or $100 off a 3-month emergency food supply. You decide, but act now. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you and your family prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already, and they're simply the best. These 4-week starter kits provide over 2,000 calories every day, 16 varieties, 25-year shelf life, breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, everything, you name it. And they're sealed inside 2 rugged waterproof buckets and over 31 pounds of food. But the best deal, what I recommend is the 3-month supply. But anyway, it's your choice, but act now. Take advantage now, and preparewithlionel.com is where you should go. Preparewithlionel.com. In my life, I'm trying to think of what I have not eaten. What I have refused to eat that was presented to me. Nothing. I've had in Dade City, San Antonio, around Dade City, Florida, we had where the Bellamy brothers lived. They had the rattlesnake roundup. I've had rattlesnake, of course, alligator, possum. They had this thing one time. It was like a I don't know what it was. Outdoor Florida type of thing where they have possum and armadillo, and I had everything. I had a little sampler plate, had everything. If it was there, I would love to say, oh, I've had bugs. I've had that. I love that sense of adventure. I mean, when you're eating it, unless you're kosher or something, or it goes against your religion. I am shocked. Rocky Mountain oysters, absolutely. That, sweetbreads, thymus, heart, chicken hearts and things like that. Lungs. That's a big Sicilian thing. Spleen sandwiches. Spleens, very minerally, kind of like that dirty diaper, copper penny kind of a thing. But without a doubt, I would eat anything. I would try anything if it wasn't, not now, but then. Let me ask you something. Would you have a problem with eating canines, felines, dogs, cats, if it was in a country where people's pets weren't taken, but they were raised domestically for that? Absolutely. What's the difference between a cat and a chicken or a pig or anything else? I don't get it. I don't understand this my mind thing. Try it. Certain things I don't like the feel of. I do not like coconut under any stretch of it. I never like coconut. I don't like Jello. It's a weird feel, but I've tried it. I'm shocked at you. Now, my friends, let's continue on, shall we? Let's get scared. Remember this fellow, Mr. Snowden? Mr. Snowden provided some of the best advice to us. Came across this today, by the way. Came across this. I wanted to remind you of this because we're forgetting that we're always being watched.
Your phone is hacked. What is in their hands is not simply your device, it is your future.
Mm-hmm. Listen.
They're selling our future. They're selling our past. They are selling our history, our identity, and ultimately, they are stealing our power.
Yes. Listen.
The screen may be off as it's sitting on your desk, but the device is talking all of the time. The question we have to ask is, who is it talking to? If I get a smartphone and I need to use a phone, I actually open it up before I use it. Anything you can do on that device, the attacker, in this case the government, can do.
Are you following
Before
this?
2013, if you said there's a system that's watching everything you do, the government is collecting records of every phone call in the United States, even for those people who are not suspected of any crime, it was a conspiracy. Yes, there were some people who believed it was happening. Yes, there were academics who could say this was technically possible.
Remember when we cared about this? What happened? What happened? Why don't we listen to this anymore?
The world of 2013, some suspected that this was happening. The world after 2013, we know that it's happening. The distance between speculation and fact is everything in a democracy.
We've lost that sensitivity. We're too interested, but we have this incredible sense of outrage over the theoretical consumption of kitties, but not this. We're the weirdest people I've ever met. This doesn't do anything. This but mention bug milk.
Democracy. We have now had the first European regulations that are trying to limit the amount of data that can be collected secretly and used against populations broadly.
And this is old, by the way. You can tell from the look of this. Imagine what they're doing now.
And we have also seen the basic structure of the internet itself change in response to this understanding that the network path that all of our communications cross.
I'm not going to make people don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear this. They want to talk about kitties. Somebody actually said, that's barbaric. What's barbaric? Eating a kitty. Well, I'm not advocating it, but what about what they do to a cow? Well, they were supposed to. What? Well, what about a pork? Oh, I like bacon. Chickens? They're chickens cutting their beaks off. Do you see what you're doing? This is one of those things. It's kind of like not moral relativism, but certain things bother us. Certain things bother us. Certain things don't. They just don't. You can talk to people. For example, I know I've seen this. I don't know why. You can mention what is going on, for example, in Gaza, or going on involving, Israel, Gaza, the allegations of such, and nobody but nobody says anything. They don't say anything. They just don't. I don't know what it's. They just don't care. It's the wildest thing. It means absolutely nothing. They look at you like, and during Vietnam, people would say something like, "Hey, what do you think about what's going on there?" I was like, "Well, that's yeah, but what about those humans?" Well, war is tough. Like Ainsley, do you ever hear Ainsley? Don't you? Did you ever hear Ainsley on Fox every now and then? Well, that's war. I mean, it's tough, and they ask for it, and what are you gonna get? But eating a dog, oh no! That reaction to that amazes me, and that's theoretical. It's not even happening here. What I'm talking about, the destruction, the horror, the massacre, that's happening, but nobody cares about that one because that's kind of different. You see, since time immemorial, we've always figured out ways to accept this, but not this. Where these people are able to withstand it, other people aren't. These people we like, these people we don't. These people look like us, these people don't. This God we like, this God we don't. This prayer we like, this one we don't recognize. So we'll take the one we like and the people that we like and the things that we like and our culture. Our culture is great. We're used to it. But rather than look at other ones and say, well, that's not my cup of tea. Oh, no. We show revulsion. We're repulsive. It's disgusting. That's the most disgusting thing you've ever. I love that. There's a rule. I'm going to stick back to this animal thing. There's this rule. I call it the Disney rule. If an animal can appear as a cartoon, you don't want anything to do with it. You just do. We do not. Certain things. I mean, unless you're kind of like a barn dog. Hey, Mr. Pig, no. That's different. But any kind of a pet, horses. Oh my God, a horse. Wow. Caballo. The French use, oh my God, horse meat. Oh, please. It goes on right now. Dogs eat it. Oh God. What about a mule or a burro? And I don't know what the one's I never understood. It's like a hare I think a hare is bigger than a rabbit or something. Anyway, what about rabbits? Does that bother anybody? Rabbits, huh? Conejo? Nah, it's not my thing. Frog legs? Oh, please. Oh my God. But the French have they used to call them, what did they call them? They call them, not squibs. There was a name. Lescoffier came up with a name for that. I love your sense of relativity. It's fantastic. Snails. Love snails. Don't you love escargot? Ooh, pick them out of a snail like a booger on a toothpick. Don't you love that? With butter, garlic butter. Oh, man. Oh. Did you ever throw a bunch of snails in a boiling pot and that gelatin boils away and they start coming out and they're up your, oh man, they are something. Lobster. Oh, what's wrong with that? Lobster. I like when they say, can lobster feel pain? Don't hear anything. You think throwing lobster into boiling water is going to, I don't know. Well, whatever. Just a blade behind the head. Shrimp, don't care about that. Fish we don't care about. It's a fish. See how we do this? That's the thing that makes humans human. Moral relativism, but the ability to connect with a potential victim. Now, I've told you before, and I'm going to say it again. The scariest thing to me, the scariest issue, absolutely, is artificial general intelligence. Not AI per se, but artificial general intelligence. Watch this.
Not Morgan Freeman. What you see is not real. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me?
Sure.
What is your perception of reality? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real?
I think it's extraordinary technology, and it's really going to be a game changer. What you see on screen is all non-human, or should I say digital, just as it should be.
That's just CJ. That doesn't mean anything, right? So what, right? That's just special effects, right? What's wrong with that? I mean, what could go wrong, right? Well, let me ask you something. And this, we get into this stuff, and you know this is my favorite subject. What is real to you? What is real? Is this great for? Don't you feel like it's Sunday night, but it's only what, Wednesday? It's Juneteenth. When you see something, is it really there? Well, I guess it's just your brain interpreting it. That's all it is. It's pretty much there. Do you see that? Yeah, I see that too. Okay, so we all agree it's there and it's real. But it's just something basically hitting your eye, going to the back of your, going through your fovea, you know, to your optic nerve, to your brain and the whole bit. And anything that can recreate that, you'll swear to God it's real. But that's what you see. And versus smelling. How about what you feel? Not tactile, but what you feel in your heart, what you feel in your soul. Oh, this is great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, your future is going to blow your mind. And there is absolutely nothing that is even being so much as discussed regarding AI. You're just letting a bunch of weird people just have their way because it's frankly, it's kind of beyond most people. And frankly, a lot of people they really don't want to get into it. They don't really want to talk about it because it's kind of like, whatever, I don't know, robots or something, but you know, it is, if you put it this way, the people who don't understand it, you can always tell they're not terrified by it. To not be, and if you don't think folks up there, including Elon and others, are paying people, or you think people always talk about, well, you know, there's a Jewish lobby in the Adelsons and APAC. There's a big tech lobby that's bigger than anything. And if you go out there and you think you're going to work with these folks and you're out scaring the people about this, you're out of your mind. You'll never work with them again. Nobody's saying anything. Just like you're never going to hear Neil deGrasse Tyson or what's his name, Brian Cox, or one of those other people ever suggest or hint that there's anything to extraterrestrial life. And by the way, where's Bill Nye, the science guy? He just went away. You notice that? He's just gone. Well, that was a rough one. The biggest story that people love more than anything else, but nobody even wants to get, because we can't handle it. I mean, we can't even handle bug milk. How are you going to handle this? Humans can't handle this. This is too much to process. But the idea of there being extraterrestrial, or what we believe to be extraterrestrial, most of the time we just see some kind of a craft or an orb or something. And you know, years ago, I heard about this one particular feller who, when he was living in New York, saw a UFO, as he calls it, and you may recognize him.
Yeah. Up there, I saw a UFO, and it went down the river, turned right at the United Nations, turned left, and then down the river. It wasn't a helicopter, it wasn't a balloon, and it was so near.
And it looked what, sort of round, white, luminescent, and silent?
Silent, and it looked dark, like black or grey in the middle, and had white lights, just looked like light bulbs, you know? Just going off, on, blink, 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 round the bottom, and on top was a red light.
Think he's crazy? 1974 at 9 o'clock on August 23rd, I saw a UFO. John Lennon. Think he's crazy? Think he's nuts? Do you? I mean, come on. You don't believe in that stuff, do you?
If you see a little note on Balls and Bridges, it says, I saw a UFO. I was just finished doing Balls and Bridges. I'd mastered it or done the last tape of it. And I was really just relaxed and feeling good. And it was summer in New York and I had the window open. And lo and behold, there was this thing just hovering sort of 100 yards away. But I saw it so close, it wasn't in the sky or nothing, you know. And it was like I could have hit it with a brick if I'd thrown a stone at it. I couldn't see the colors because it was dusk. It was a good, clear summer night. You know, the sky was very clear.
Do you believe him? Think he's crazy? Think he's making it up? Think this is just I don't know, just a kind of crazy beetle trying to get attention?
And round the bottom of it were just ordinary looking electric light bulbs, blinking off and on alternatively, like on a billboard. And on the top of it was a...
By the way, this is a contemporaneous recording. This is a contemporaneous recording. This is what do you call this? Present recollection recorded exception to the hearsay rule. This is so you can use this in court later on.
Red light. And the thing I noticed was that there was no noise, and I could hear that freeway down below, all the cars going.
The FDR, yeah.
So I realized, oh, it's not a helicopter, then it must be a balloon. But it was so close to the rooftop that it couldn't be a balloon. So all the rational things that I went through, they're not a helicopter, a balloon. Not a balloon, it's too close to the roof. And it's maneuvering too well to be a balloon. So I just watched it, and it was there for about 5 or 10 minutes. It went off down the East River, and there it was, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Now, let me ask you that. Think he's crazy? Now, of course, people say, oh, he's crazy. He's crazy. He's a beetle. He's trying to get attention. We love to say that. What if he said, well, I saw Jesus, or I saw I saw a ghost, or I saw my beloved father. We hear stuff like this all the time. I saw a ghost. You know, I saw this woman. We lived in this place, and it was a woman who had long hair, and I saw her many times, and I wasn't the only one. You see what your first reaction is? What do we do? Oh, you're crazy. Oh, that's stupid. We just love to just immediately say, no, I'm not going to try this. No, I'm not going to think that. No, I don't believe you. We love to say no. Our minds are so closed. We just love it. Except accepted religion, then that's okay. Sky's the limit. You know, I prayed, and I believe you. It's a miracle. No questions asked. And I'm not saying that's not true. We're the weirdest animal. We eat this, but not this. By the way, do you know, speaking of food, one of the most interesting things one time was, I forget where it was. Was it Africa? I don't know where it was. But the thing that disgusted people more than anything was peanut butter. This one particular group, they looked at it. Oh, you can imagine, but they ate peanuts. So they didn't even recognize the smell. But it was disgusting to them. It was absolutely disgusting. Isn't this great? Are you thinking? Are you thinking? Oh, see what I do, Lizzie? I don't doubt people. I listen to you. And I make my initial assessment. And I'm saying, is this because I'm thinking to myself, I look at you, it's like, this person's never said this before. This person doesn't seem to be out of their tree. This person doesn't seem, he's not talking to themselves. He's not under the influence of anything that I can see. Why am I to disbelieve them? Why? Because we love to. And by the way, when you say I'm a doubting Thomas, Lizzie, certain things you are, certain things you're not. Remember, with all due respect, and I don't know about your particular case, religion, no problem. Anything God, anything. You could tell people that there is an icon that weeps, or there's you go to Lourdes, and if you touch this rock, it has magical power. So, no problem. Hundreds of thousands of. I'm not mocking that. That they believe. But if John Lennon, who co-wrote, Sgt. Pepper, and Got to Get You Into My Life, very, very smart person who Oh no, no, not him. No, we don't like this. Okay, I've been saving the best for last. I think who was it? I think it was Vanessa Williams. Saving the best for last. But before we do, you want to talk about something that's really interesting. How about the notion of luxuriation? Taking yourself to another planet, another dimension by virtue of what we lay our head on. All right, dear friends, it's time yet again to hail and salute our great friends at MyPillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know, a free gift. It's a tautology. So sue me. But first, listen. Check out their $25 extravaganzas. Listen to this. Premium MyPillows, King and Queen, MyPillow 2.0, MyPillow bed sheets, the lowest prices ever, sandals, slides, and slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets, simply and absolutely the best. It is unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike answers the phone. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, simply the best, simply and absolutely the best. Okay, my friends. By the way, PTSD, do you believe that? Depression, do you believe that? Somebody says, I'm in love. Do you believe that? I'm scared. Do you believe that? Sure you do. Why? That's okay. But if somebody says, I feel something, I hear something, now you're a nut. Why? Because we have these weird rules that we apply. Charlie Calais, by the way, says the Pope came out a few years ago saying there may be more children in the universe. Absolutely, Charlie. Go back and please read and listen to the words of the Vatican astronomer, not astrologer, the astronomer, who basically said it is completely consistent with church dogma. And the question is, do they have original sin? That's the issue. Imagine if you hear a story, would you believe that out of the trillions of galaxies and trillions of stars and planets and potential, if 1% was Goldilocks, whatever, do you know how many civilizations? And what if I told you that none of them had original sin? None of them had to find redemption in Jesus, and Jesus didn't go there, came here. We're the only planet in the universe that are a bunch of sinners. Don't even get me good. Do you know the implications of that? Oh, dear God. Now, listen to this. Let me show you what's beautiful about this current iteration of these stupid Democrats who are stupid, I think, organically, and also stupid by virtue of how they agree collectively. Listen to this moonbat, this dingbat, talk about what's important to the people in our country.
And remain together as a whole family here in this country.
Look at that stupid grit. First of all, look at this expression. Look at this affect. This benighted moonbat. This clueless. Look at his face. Look at this. What is this? Seriously, you think she likes Ento milk? Listen to this nonsense.
They can remain together as a whole family here in this country as a result of this executive order.
They talk about the little family. They come together. Half of these people are a bunch of men from Venezuela and places that you never can imagine who know a level of crime and savagery that the human mind cannot fathom. And this dingbat with this, and they think the family.
Those are the things that matter most.
That matters to whom?
And those are the ways in which President Biden continues to fight for, communities across this country that, really deserve the opportunity that we know is so important in this election.
No, he's not. No, he's not important. No, you just lost the election, you dingbat. It's the last thing Americans were like, what the hell are you talking about? Nobody's saying, I'm going to vote for President Biden because I want more people here. And And if they come and they kill people, well, what are you gonna do? Win some, lose some. One apple spoils the whole bunch. This is a one, you know it's bad that when Jim Acosta calls it on Mayorkas, I think is the most evil of them all. This man is the tantamount to evil. This one made me sick.
Ask you about the murder of this Maryland mother that has been in the news. It's gotten a lot of attention. She was killed last year. An undocumented immigrant was just arrested. And
no, an illegal alien, not an immigrant. He wasn't migrating. He broke in. He is a sovereignty burglar. Call it what it is. He's like a constitutional squatter.
Last year, an undocumented immigrant was just arrested, and her death last week. He's suspected of.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this. You know what I'd want to do? You know what I would do to him? I can't tell you, but I can think it.
Multiple crimes since he crossed the border illegally in early 2023. Obviously, you know, we know that the studies show that undocumented immigrants don't commit more crimes statistically.
What? The very fact that they're undocumented means they committed a crime. They're being there. They're criminals by virtue of being there. What do you mean they don't commit more crimes? You gotta be a criminal to be an illegal alien. Did you hear me? You must definitely, by its ipso facto, be a criminal to be an illegal alien.
Than native-born U.S. citizens. But what do you say to critics who blame the administration for allowing something like this to happen?
Now listen to him carefully and listen carefully. See if this is reminiscent of another argument they used to use.
Obviously, this is something that you hear in right-wing media all the time.
He doesn't care.
Jim, first and foremost, of course, our hearts break for the children, the family, the loved ones, the friends of the individual who was murdered.
The individual who was murdered. Not Rachel Morin. No. The individual, the victim. Distance them as much as you can from paying any type of human connection to them. Al.
The woman, the mother. Jim, a criminal.
Listen.
Is responsible for the criminal act.
Ooh. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? It's not the gun that killed somebody, but the criminal who used the gun. Same kind of argument, right? They don't use that one. Oh, no. They don't. No. It's not that this person was an illegal immigrant who, again, I hasten to say, is illegal and a criminal by virtue of his being here in the first place. No. It was a criminal who just happened to break the law. See that something? Imagine that, the likelihood of you catching criminals by people who must commit a crime to enter this country.
The criminal who committed this heinous act should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law.
Now, let me see. That would be you, because you let this savage in. You let this wild animal in. It's like if I have a dog, a rabid dog, and they keep getting out and they're doing terrible things. And I have 4 out of 5 dogs. Okay. But these other ones are getting out and doing horrible damage and hurting people. Do you think I might be responsible for that? Yes.
And forcefully so. That is my response.
You have no idea how I despise this man. I cannot put into words how I despise this man. You better be thankful I'm not running the show here, because I promise you. Because remember, a lot of these folks who come here are very superstitious. And if things are presented that look almost, dare I say, supernatural, it kind of makes a bigger impact than putting them in some kind of a holding station and then re-entered. So anyway, that's that. What a nice night. By the way, did you have fun today on Juneteenth? Anybody have any great Juneteenth fun today? Lori Cook, did you have any? Charlie Calais? Thank you, by the way, folks. Anybody do you have any Juneteenth parties? Have any Juneteenth cake? Did you get a Juneteenth card? Did you? Did you sing any Juneteenth? Did you? Anybody? Now, by the way, I'm not minimizing the importance of stopping slavery. I'm just talking about Americans don't even understand the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. You expect them to understand Juneteenth? What are you, nuts? It's kind of like well, we'll leave it at that. Anybody? Of course not. Of course not. All right, dear friends, let me also remind you of one thing. You have been absolutely splendiferous in the showing of love that you have for my beloved, Mrs. L. And this is her YouTube channel. There is stuff that is so good. And everybody in the biz goes to Lynn's Warriors on YouTube and watches everything she does. That's it right there. That's her link. Lynn's Warriors. You just click right there. Click right there, my friends. And it takes you right to her landing page, if we say. Lynn's Warriors. All right, dear friends. Thank you so much for being with us. It was my honor to be with you this eve. And what a night it was. We covered, oh my God. Entomilk bugs. That was the best conversation to me because of your reaction. Excuse me. All right, dear friends, that is that. Have a wonderful night. I'm very confused. Tomorrow's Thursday, but I think it's Monday because I think tonight's Sunday because I'm like that. I'm wacky. Call me wacky. Don't forget Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Have a great night, dear friends. We love you. See you tomorrow. And don't forget these final words, this valedictory, this ADOs. Remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.